Councilor Wojciechowski.
Here.
Councilor McColl.
Here.
Councilwoman Thomas.
Here.
Mayor Sherrod.
Here, please rise and pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the July 8th, 2021 meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions, corrections? Call the roll.
Councilor Wojciechowski.
Yes.
Councilor McColl.
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Drager.
Aye.
And Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. I'd like to open the floor to public comment on agenda items only. And please just state your name and address for the record.
This is my first time here, so. My name is Diana Carestas. I live at 630 Alberts Drive in Monessen. And I wanted to comment on the proposed new animal ordinance. The ordinance that you have now, in my experience, I've lived in Monessen for like 15 years, and I've had at least that many situations in my neighborhood of animal abuse, animal neglect. There's a current one going on right now. A person left the neighborhood 3 weeks ago. He left 15 chickens without food or water. 15 chickens. A chicken can live, I found out because I know nothing about chickens, about a day and a half without water. Then their crops dry up, which is part of their mouth system. They can't eat. I came down to see Mr. Harhide. He helped me, him and Chief Heppel found a farmer to come out and get the chickens. But for 2 weeks, I've been watering these chickens. They've been pecking around and looking for food, but I've been giving them water. We have caught 12 chickens. We have 3 left to catch. And by the way, catching chickens is not an easy task. Okay? I know you guys are all overworked, because anytime I come down here, you're all this way, that way thing. When I would come down to see Todd about situation with dogs running loose, I've come down to see him about goats that were being buried on a neighbor's property. Goats. 3 goats died. There were 5 goats left when I finally got a hold of somebody from the Humane Society, and an agent came out and confiscated the goats. Right now, Westmoreland County doesn't have a humane agent. I didn't know that. I found that out in trying to help with the chickens. So before you loosen up your regulations on animals in the city, please have a plan for when things go badly wrong. Don't be scrambling to find an answer while animals are suffering. I'm planning on going on a trip shortly. If I wasn't still watering those chickens when I went on the trip, and if Mr. Harhide and Mr. Heppel hadn't found a farmer to take them, they would have died, because I would not have been there to give them water for those 4 days. Now think about that. Your neighbor next door, and now you have 15 dead chickens in the yard. Next we'll have coyotes. We already have raccoons. Somebody told me they saw a fox up near me. And I know that I have seen a chicken in a window in an upstairs building in downtown. And today I was told by somebody that there were indeed chickens in a building in downtown Monessen. So again, before you loosen your restrictions, please have a plan as to what to do when someone does not follow the regulations. Who's going to do the work? What work are they going to do? How long is it going to take to do that work to solve that situation for the animals and for the people that are surrounding that get burdened with their care? Because somebody has to take care of those animals when somebody else just walks away. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Where you going?
I just want to add to this situation.
Who are you, Ernie?
Ernie Telegraph, 29 Rex Street.
You're welcome.
This council is under tremendous pressure. They're going to be going into a lame duck session because at the moment, there seem to be three characters that were nominated by the Democratic Party to get in and take over the city council. And because of that, their code enforcer left, okay? So you got all this extra burden being put on these council members, particularly John Arhide. And everybody wants immediate answers, but you people gotta have patience. They have and will be going under a lot of stress in order to keep our finances and expenses balanced, okay? Now, I'm gonna ask you a question. You people don't have a dog catcher, right? Or do you?
Yeah.
Okay, shouldn't this chicken episode be under his jurisdiction instead of on you individual council members? And if so, that's who she should be addressing her concern. We can't just throw everything on their shoulders, especially when I just got done stating they don't know what their faith is until the next 3 months, when the elections come up November 2nd. Right now, everybody's in a cruising mode, and they're doing the best they can with people battling out, because they're assuming the worst is going to happen. They don't want to get fired, so they quit. And then they got extra work. So it's one thing to come out and you like this to happen, that to happen. I like to happen is that everybody works together to make sure that Monessen doesn't go underwater, and to make sure that we steer away from people who are trying to sabotage the city. That's all I got to say.
Any other public comment on agenda items? Moving on to correspondence, the first public hearing for the preparation of the fiscal year 2021 CDBG application was held on Wednesday, August 4th, 2021 at 4 p.m. here at City Hall. And the River Launch Playground was installed on Saturday, August 7th, 2021. The mulching of the playground area will be completed sometime this week. And thank you to all the volunteers who made it happen, and also to the people that donated to defer the cost, and to the grant, to Kaboom for offering that grant to us so that we can get that playground done. Unfortunately, it was for, fortunately but unfortunately, it was for a new playground and not for existing playground equipment. But there was nothing down at that boat launch, so hopefully now more people will rent the pavilion, and that will be some small income for the city. And then the Monessen Recreation Board's June 28th, 2021 meeting minutes were submitted to council. And as you may know, the 2019 audit is finally complete, and McClure and Wolf will present the audit to the public at the September 14th, 2021 council meeting. And they are in the process of working on the 2020 audit, so that should be done by October. There's no old business.
Excuse me, there is old business.
Oh.
Councilman Orchakowski wanted to know about what the invoices that weren't paid for. If you would go print those for me, please. And pass them on to Councilman, I appreciate it. He requested that information. I got it for him.
Thank you.
You're welcome. anyhow, as we were informed at the last meeting by Councilman Orchakowski, it was $170,000 to the good in the accounts for the city of Monessen. And he asked what the invoices, unpaid invoices for 2019 were. The minimum municipal obligation that was not paid was $283,992.85. The penalties on that was $30,000, $503.98. Benetcon was owed $144,418.02. Mon Valley Refuge, $131,984.31. State Workers Insurance Fund was $11,510. Cummings Sales was $4,167.24. Mornack was $4,600. West Penn Power was $12,062.72. Mon Valley Sewage was $127.30. Van Beck Electric was $283.70. Lowe's $84.37. W.B. Mason $97.47. Comcast $498.37. Verizon $265.30. R&D Walters $189. Trefficonzo $153. I'm assuming that State Auto Parts was $343.69. GM Parts $66.95. Whitmer was $121.93. Flynn $220. Wex Bank $1,639.71. Westmoreland County Treasurer $177.28. WEC $20,683.20. Atlantic Tactical was $266.22. Marvin Davis, Marvin David?
Davis.
Typo, my bad. Was $55.68. Thomas Fastening was $588. Shamrock $625.30. Neopost $773.31. Gil Colley $300. LabCorp $17.72. Pittsburgh Gas, $390.38. Quest Diagnostic, $87.72. Premier, $1,305. Markle, $2,690. Link, $1,760. Itty Bitty, $39.50. Bart's, $25. Applied Industrial, $271.30. American Legal, $260.64. Total 2019 invoices paid in 2020, $657,646.23. Now, that's for the public's information and for council's information. What does surprise me, though, is apparently a big deal was made that we had a balance of $170,000. Looking at this, it's easy to have a balance in your account when you don't pay your bills. And that's what we didn't do in 2019. We've not only caught up those bills, where are we at on those bills right now, Mr. Hartman?
We owe about $43,000.
We owe about $43,000. Who do we owe that to?
That is to the MMO. For the,
SCMO?
pension.
Now, I understand that some of these bills would be owed anyways in 2020, but the bulk of them we found months after we took office. Now, that's up to the public to make head or tail of this. I'm sorry, I look at this and I see financial mismanagement. It was, oh yeah, our credit was non-existent because we couldn't pay our bills. But I thought the public should know. And that's why I informed you all. It'll make a difference to some it won't mean anything. But we did recover, and we did catch up on all these bills. So when you take office in January, if you do, you won't be in this kind of shape that we were. We were in such a condition we couldn't get a TAN note. We couldn't get a TAN note. I knew in December, the first part of December, we weren't going to get it. Council knew a lot earlier. that we weren't gonna get it. But coming on, I actually made some phone calls. I had some people that worked there. And I was told we were getting it. I think we've done one heck of a job getting out of the hole that we were left in. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Oh, and one other thing, though, I thought was somewhat interesting, and I thought the public should know. First of the year, we started getting demands from Mr. Orchikowski, Councilman Orchikowski. He wanted to know how we were making payroll, since, as far as he was aware, we didn't have any money. And everyone, he said, this is from him, and I'm directing this email primarily to Councilman Gil Cole, Director of Finance. What is the current general fund balance? Where has the money for payroll coming from? In December, we were almost flat broke and was not sure if we could make January payroll. What outstanding debts does the city still owe? I am formally requesting complete financial account for bills paid, as well as for amounts left, if any, in all departments and flipped accounts. I have requested this information at least 3 times, as well as a phone call to Mr. Hara, and do not have an answer. I am now demanding full disclosure on how the city is operating and staying afloat when we have no money. Also, what is going on with the TAN note? I have constituents calling stating that if they do not have answers, they are, or paying, I'm reading this, or paying their taxes, or at least, I imagine we're not paying their taxes, or at least withholding them. I also have not received any info concerning the hourly rate, cell phone number, or email of our solicitors. Anthony Wachikowski, Director of Parks. So there may have been money left, but he was not aware of it. Which I find somewhat disconcerting, considering he was the Director of the Council of Finance. We just take office, but he wants us to all have all the information available for him, which, number one, we couldn't even get into the accounts yet. Just for the public's information.
So what happened to all that money? The bill's not paid, you not paid them?
They were paid.
We paid
We paid
them.
them in 2020.
We paid them, thanks to the financial managers that we had here.
Well, that's on that idiot that was here before and in jail.
I don't think he did anything criminal. To be honest with you, I think it was mostly incompetence.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Although I have to tell you this also, in interest of disclosure, the reason that we were able to catch up was because they raised taxes.
Then when this idiot gets in, they're gonna raise taxes
Now,
again.
that's not nice, sir.
Okay.
That's not nice.
Do you have anything else on?
No, that's it. I just wanted the public to be aware of what was going on, what was happening. And like I said, Councilman Orchikowski wanted the information.
City Treasurer Jerry Saxon.
Mayor, Metro, and Council. It's the Treasurer's Department for the month of July. Ladies and gentlemen, garbage fees and city real estate collected garbage fees. Current for July, $3,430.50. Year-to-date, $311,267.44. Budget amount was $370,000. Delinquent, $10,085.81 in July. That we received from Portnoy, $1,349.06. Year-to-date, $94,559.42. Received from Portnoy, $28,891.74. Budget amount $120,000. Interest and penalties were received from Portnoy, $395.11. Garbage housing, we received nothing this quarter. Year-to-date from $30,517.50. Budget amount $80,000. Total budget amount for 2021 was $570,000. Garbage collected for 2022, July $25, year-to-date $815.20. That's for 2022. Budget amount was $60,000. City real estate taxes revenues. City real estate taxes current. In July, we received $41,020.38. Year-to-date, $2,009,356.13. The budget amount for general fund was as follows. General fund received $1,457,000. Debt service received $500,000. Parks received $250,000. Library fund received $50,000 for a total of $2,257,000. Taxes. City taxes collected prior years, we received nothing this quarter. Year to date, $3,612.14. Budget amount, $9,100. Received nothing from Portnoy this period. City taxes collected by Westmoreland, nothing this period. Year to date, $132,305.70. Budget amount, $210,000. Total year-to-date taxes, $2,145,273.97. The following is a distribution of the city real estate taxes. 1 mil is equal to $58,430.63. The general fund received $1,384,875.56. Debt service fund received $475,249. Parks received $237,624.50, and the library fund received $47,524.91 for a total of $2,145,273.97. Other departments we were involved in for the month: city real estate transfer taxes. July we received $10,526.05. Year to date, $50,316.87. Budgeted amount for 2021, $60,000. Earned income tax. July we received $24,718.07. Year to date, $316,159.23. Budget amount, $650,000. Mercantile tax. July we received $5,950.67. Year to date, $22,243.04. Budget amount, $28,000. Local service tax. July we received $3,274.76. Year to date, $34,960.31. Budget amount, $77,000. Tax certification municipal lien letters. Well, tax certification is first. July we received $1,720. Year to date, $13,600. Budget amount, $22,000. Municipal lien letters. July we received $1,350. Year to date, $949,450. 2021 budget amount, $16,500. The line usage fee. This is a separate account from the general fund. Unsecured payments. Received nothing in July. Year to date, $9,828. Line usage fees. July we received $97,792.59. Year to date, $609,024.05. Line usage account. Total for the year to date, $618,853.20. Also, the Treasury Department this month sent out 530 delinquent garbage counts, totaling $117,095 to Portnoy Law Associates for collection. Also prepared and mailed out the 2021 school tax bills. Mayor, that concludes my report. I need a motion on this, and I will do the controller's report after we're finished.
Motion to approve the treasurer's report as read. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Coles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilor Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes.
Mayor Matt Straw, members of council, in the absence of City Controller Resignation, I will do her report for her. The bank reconciliation as of July 31st, 2021. Beginning bank balance, June 30th, 2021. $484,864.57. We have the deposits of $284,589.29. Expenses, $471,176.78. Ending balance as of July 31st, 2021, $298,277.08. We have outstanding checks, $17,878.74, and outstanding deposits of $55,631.91. And we reconciled the balance to the bank statement of $336,030.25. Mayor, that concludes the controller's report.
Thank you. Moving on to new business. So, this one I didn't get any weigh-in from council, so before we make a motion, I don't know if council has any input on item A. We have 2 applicants to the library board. Both of them are very qualified, very good people, and I think that they would make an excellent addition to the library board, so I don't know if anyone has any input.
Flip a coin.
You could flip a coin. And
You have 2 qualified individuals. You can't make a call, flip a coin.
any thoughts from anyone?
No, in paper, I'm going to withdraw my name in consideration and allow the other individual to just take the position. There doesn't need to be any hard feelings or anything, so I thought if you needed me with my experience, that would be great, but I don't know who the other person is. You're telling me she's qualified or good enough for me, so I'll withdraw and let's make it easier for everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mark. All right, then I'll make a motion to appoint Lindsay Troilo to the vacant seat on the Monessen Library Board. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilwoman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Coles, Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to appoint David Knoll to the Youth and Young Citizens Board. This is the youth position on the board. David is a junior at Monessen High School. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Coles, Councilwoman Thomas,
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Zalendria Hardison to the Youth and Young Citizens Board. This is also the second youth position on the board. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Coles, Councilwoman Thomas,
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to accept the resignation of Marcia Adams from the Shade Tree Commission due to a conflict in schedule. Is there a second?
Second.
Marcia is also the children's librarian, so they meet the same time, and she wants to focus on youth programming, so she just felt that it was best for her to resign. Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Coles, Councilwoman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve Gordon Marshall for the vacant position on the Shade Tree Commission, filling Marshall's position. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions?
Question there, we have to reside in the city?
No. There are two positions that you can have that you can reside outside of the city if they have qualifications. And seeing as he is a horticulturist, I would say that that qualifies for the Shade Tree
Monessen was
Commission.
their hometown.
Yes, he was born here, so he lives in Ross Street.
I know Gordon.
Oh, do you?
That's my cousin.
Oh, I've never met him. Marcia didn't want to resign unless she found a replacement for her on the board, and I'd say someone who is a horticulturalist would fit the bill for the Shade Tree Commission. Call the roll.
Councilman Coles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to give the honorary status of Emeritus Library Board member to Kathleen Mathis for her decades of dedication to the Monessen Library Board. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. What does that entail exactly?
So it's really up to you guys. If my thought was, and I don't know if you all want to pitch in and do this on your own or something, I thought maybe getting a small plaque or something and just saying like, hey, thank you for what you've done. That's up to you really. This motion is just for like recognition. But if you wanted to do something further to acknowledge her, that's up to you guys. So, I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on that.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, she's been involved in the library for decades, and I know she's had some health issues lately, and then with the death of her husband, it's been really hard. So I think it would be nice to recognize her.
Just to clarify, it's not a voting position, obviously.
No.
It can't be anything that would be in contravention with the library's bylaws.
Correct. This is outside of the library board positions. This is just a non-voting honorary position. Any other questions? Call the roll.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Coles?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. This next item, we talked about this last week at the work session. We sent Mr. Strong a letter, I don't know if you received it yet, asking for further information on the status of the other properties that he owns before we move forward with these. I had the solicitor take a look at the letter, and he was fine with it, so we sent it off. So once we receive a progress report on the other properties that he has, then we can move forward with this approval. So I'd like to table this one. And I don't know if anyone has any input on this.
I have a question. On these other properties, has he paid the taxes and everything on it? Is he up to date?
As far as I know, yes. Okay, for moving on to item H, I'd like to make a motion to forgive city property taxes for $3,382.06 for 428 McKee Avenue, tax map number 2002030367. A copy of the deed and the development agreement has been signed. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions?
Are these numbers, like, is it common or wrong place, or
For which one?
number 2?
Number two.
I mean, on the development, the
Oh.
development agreement, on number 2. Are the commas in the wrong place, or?
$3,000. That's what it should be. I think there should be a period there, $3,000. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, are they to spend $30,000 on the house, right? 3 times what they,
Well, 30,000 would be, yeah, so it should be 9,000. As the minimum developer shall spend the minimum amount. Yeah, I think that should be 9,000.
Yeah, whatever the unpaid balance of the city taxes
Yeah.
are.
Then it's 3 times that.
Yeah.
so that's what.
Yeah, 30 would be 10 times, so
Right.
that's not 30.
So it should be what?
It should be
9,000.
9,000.
Can we get that corrected?
I do. It's stated. It's for express.
Okay. But that should be corrected, 9,000.
Yeah. Good catch on that. Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Cole?
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve quitclaim deed by and between the City of Monessen and the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Monessen for parcel ID numbers 2002080382 and 2002080384 for lots of Moffett Street and Elizabeth Avenue. Is there a second?
I'm not showing you.
Item I.
No, this is just the approval for that. I don't have that.
Oh, okay.
So I typed that for you. Please, you want to tell me?
Yeah.
These are.
Yeah, I need a second before I can.
I'll second.
This is the canistrel lots that were donated to us last year, I believe. Someone is interested in purchasing them, so in order for them to do that, we have to transfer them to the redevelopment authority. So,
There's no taxes on
yeah, there's no taxes on them since they came to the city. Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Cole?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve Fire Department Number 2's request to have a vendor craft and food truck festival at the boat launch on Tuesday, August 10th, 2021, from 4 to 8 p.m. Currently going on right now. And they're requesting for the fee to be waived. And this is a fire department fundraiser. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Cole?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve Officer Britton Laird from part-time, or approve making Officer Britton Laird part-time to full-time status. One officer is offered an extended period of time, and vacations have reduced the availability of officers. And also, I'm told that we might be losing one officer to another department. Is there a second?
I'll second it. I do have some questions. How long is this officer going to be off?
For 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months.
And I do have, it's not on the police report, but I do have it here and I can pass this down the table. Cheryl got this for me. The overtime, so from January 1st through August 1st, 2020, the overtime was $25,900.45. That same period this year, January 1st through August 1st, 2021, the overtime was reduced to $11,649.75. So I think that has a lot to do with us going to 12-hour shifts and having enough officers to fill all these positions, especially when someone gets sick or is in training or injured or what have you, so vacation. So you guys asked for that, so I did want to bring that up.
I'm not sure if I can ask this or not. The nature of the injury, is there a chance that this individual may not come back? Can I ask that?
That I
Let's see if
I don't know if it would prohibit him from coming back or not. It depends on how he recovers. So it wasn't a workplace injury, but I don't know how serious it is or how that will turn out.
My only concern is we hired another guy full-time. And this guy comes back, now we'll have another police officer. We have shortages in other departments. I'm sure Lowe's can tell you that we need people, hire people in the streets department. But if he's gonna be off for almost a year,
Yeah, so I don't know if he'll return or if, this injury will,
when you're looking at having to cover, what are they working a week? How many hours are they working?
each officer.
Yeah, what's their schedule for?
36 and 44.
26 and 44.
They're on the 12
One
hour.
one of the situations, he's been out now for May, June, July, and August already. So that's why the $11,000 has gone up.
It was at 7,000
We would have been
last
around
time.
6,000 or 7,000 if not. We would have reduced it by 75% from last year. And probably 2019,
If you're figuring that your overtime is gonna be $57.75 per hour,
if we utilize the current.
If you just utilize the way we're going,
But,
to replace that, gone.
The problem is one, the 12 hours, it's pretty hard to get somebody to work safely after that 12-hour period.
Right.
A little bit overtime.
Yeah, you'll be half dead. I don't see anything but to bring them on.
I do agree with you, though, that we really do need to look next to the street department.
Yeah, we
I know
do.
We've talked about it.
I know Mr. Harhide had some plans on how he could do that. I'm not sure if that could be brought to fruition or not, but we definitely need to get them some help.
Yeah. Any other questions about this motion?
So to clarify, the motion is the intent to bring them on for full-time status, regardless of whether that officer then comes back, or is this full-time status only for the period of time until that officer comes back? Or then this new officer would then be laid off at that point because another officer is there? Because if it's that second, it's the latter option, you would want that spelled out in the actual motion itself.
That's a good suggestion, I'm gonna bring that up.
But
He
we
could
don't
be
know, we don't know how long, like
But
if it's
once
6 to
he
8
comes,
months
if he doesn't come back, he can be made full-time.
permanently.
Right,
You continue.
that's a good way to look at it.
That's true.
Bring him
I mean,
on
it's up
full-
to council in terms of what they want to do. I just don't want you to be stuck in a situation
Let's
where
see.
you've got more officers than
Full-time
you need because
can be
somebody ends up coming back and then
It's a good way to look at it.
budget. It's difficult.
Tim, would it also be a possible issue if you brought this officer on, because the need seems to be there now, and say the officer that's off does come back, now you're not gonna be able to, like you said, reduce because of the union contract, you're not gonna be able to load the number of people in the force.
Well, and that's the concern. That's why the thought would be you need to include that in the resolution itself, that it's a hiring for a specific term, so you're already setting that expectation as a condition of the hiring itself.
Is that an issue that the union may have?
And you'd want to make sure that it's okay with the union. You always, assuming you don't have a minimum staffing clause that you'd be in violation of at that point. If you had one extra officer, you could lay somebody off for economic reasons. That's okay. So you have the ability to do that. And having another officer come back to create that extra position would give you the ability to do that. Like I said, I always just, to make it very clear to everybody, that's the intention, have it in the motion itself, just so that there's no question as to, what the conditional language of the hiring was.
And he actually wouldn't be laid off, he would just resort back to part-time, because he's already part-time.
So if that, that would be, you'd go back to part-time, and you'd go back to part-time.
Yeah, since he's already on the rank.
Right, he's already there.
Thoughts? Temporary, full-time, or permanent full-time?
It's interesting, around there. Would any part-timer want to take that position, knowing that he's going to, I'll be full-time until this guy comes back, and once he comes back,
We only have 2 other part-time officers.
yeah.
And I don't think either of them would, personally.
Either of them would what?
Are you talking about either of them taking this?
Yeah,
I don't think either of them would.
would want this
I
position
don't think so.
as a full-time, permanent, or part-time?
Both of the other full-timers have other jobs outside of their part-time.
Here's the big problem, they might have part-time for 3 different municipalities. And when you call them, they're not available, and you're short-handed them, that's where you run the problem.
So, Tim, if we hire this guy, and we say we're gonna make you permanent full-time, and then one officer comes back and we find out we do not have the resources to keep him, we can lay the lowest person off?
As long as you're not in violation of the minimum staffing clause at that point, so you still have more officers than, I don't know if your contract has a minimum
I don't
number
think
of
it does.
officers. So if you don't have a minimum, that's not a problem. So you would, for an economic reason, have the ability to furlough essentially an officer, or lay an officer off, put him back to part-time. as Councilman Thomas said, like I said, I always like for clarification there, just so everybody understands what the intent is. You know, instead of surprising somebody with that action later on, whether you include it in the resolution or the motion or not, you know, sometimes I think that helps just to make sure everybody's aware of what the intent for that was.
So you say if we put him on part-time now,
Full-time.
full-time now, and let him know if we do regain our totals that we need, you would have to go back on the part-time at that time. I think that's fine.
Yeah, so we have to include that in the motion. So if that's what you're all thinking.
The need is now,
Right.
and if the need changes, if we do have somebody else leaves, then
If
we
a
have to.
vacancy opens up, say like you do lose an officer, then he would automatically get that spot?
Yeah.
Do we need to state that?
That would need to, because he'd already be
He's-
temporary part-time.
he's already in there,
so
yeah.
He's already filling
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so
That spot.
change the motion.
At that point, you may need to make a motion to make him permanent, full-time, but he'd still be in that spot.
So I'll amend my motion to read a motion to approve Officer Britton Laird from part-time to full-time status temporarily until the officer in question that is out returns, if he returns. Is there a second?
You know, you just make sure you let him know that if a slot opens up, he would be the first
Yeah.
to slide into that appointed position.
Yeah, that would only be
Because
fair.
that's incentive, so just let him know.
Yeah, he would be the first.
Yeah.
He'd have bid.
Right, let him know that.
Matt, shouldn't he be aware of what we're talking about so that he would know
Yeah, no,
the possibilities of him getting back on or off or whatever?
Yeah,
Shouldn't
well,
he-
he'd still have to accept.
yeah.
But
the
he
position.
should be, don't you think he should be knowledgeable about what we're talking about here?
Yeah, yeah.
So this can't be tabled until we talk to him or something about it?
I think that they would rather it not be to avoid another month of overtime.
Or the meet, so you're talking about the meetings of putting somebody on right
But
away.
see, if he says, well, I don't want to do this temporarily, then he has the ability to decline the
Well,
offer.
that's
so-
my reason for
Yeah.
asking the question about
Well,
letting him.
he declines, he declines.
Yeah, and let him have some input in
Yeah.
this too.
Well, so if we approve this, then we have to basically offer him formally, and then if he says no, then we're gonna have to find someone else to fill it.
Oh, okay, I just felt that maybe his input might be important.
Or, I mean, the other alternative is he says no, but he's your best option, because the owner will do it on a permanent full-time basis. Next month, you have the option of considering it permanent full-time
Yeah.
too. So, you know, you'll have the period between the two meetings, this month and next month, to discuss it with him. Like you said, make sure that he's
Yeah,
on board with what
He's
was.
on board with what we're doing here.
Anyone else? I still need a second for my amended motion.
I'll second.
Any other questions? Call the roll?
Councilor Chakowski?
Yes.
Councilor Coles?
Yes,
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes,
Councilor Gregor? Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve Westmoreland County's assessments change form dated 7/16/2021 to reduce the discount amount to $499.37 on tax map number 2002-150120, and it's a refund of $587.24 that is required. Is there a second?
second.
Any questions? Call the roll?
Councilman Coles?
yes,
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes,
Councilor Gregor?
Aye.
Councilor Chakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 22 of 2021, a resolution of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, authorizing a grant application to be submitted to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for the Multimodal Transportation Fund Program for the rehabilitation of the downtown Monessen Public Parking Garage. Is there a second?
second.
Any questions?
Mayor, isn't this the one that is a match?
Yes, and I'm writing the match.
It doesn't state in the motion that if the match isn't received, the city will forget the project.
Well, then I will amend my motion to read a motion to approve a motion to approve Resolution 22 of 2021, resolution of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, authorizing a grant application to be submitted to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for the Multimodal Transportation Fund Program for the rehabilitation of the downtown Monessen public parking garage. And if the match is not obtained from the federal grant, then the application will not be accepted if this grant is awarded. Is there a second? Any other questions?
Is this the one for 1.3?
No, this is a different grant. This is 910, or yes, you're right, yeah. The total project is 1.3. This is 910,000, and then the remaining can be acquired from a federal grant that doesn't have a match requirement to it. So if we get that federal grant, we'll be able to use that to match this funding to do the parking garage. Call the roll.
Councilman Cole?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Grigor?
Aye.
Councilor Chakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Schwab?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1239, the final reading, an ordinance of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, establishing certain rules and regulations regarding dogs, cats, other domestic and non-domestic animals in the city, rules and regulations regarding the keeping of dogs and cats in the city, rules and regulations of certain exotic animals, establishing penalties and enforcement regulations, and providing for an effective date. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And I just wanted to add, just for clarification, so the biggest change in this ordinance is regarding dogs, and it's based on square footage now. It's actually allowing more dogs, but it's based on the square footage of your property. The chicken ordinance section of this has not changed from before, but it is now lumped in with all of this. So there are penalties in place for any animals that are left, neglected, what have you. It also puts in place, it's already a state law, but I think it's good to have it locally. If you leave your dog in a vehicle under 30 degrees, over 90 degrees, there's criminal penalties for that too. So the current animal ordinance, like I've said before, it allows us to destroy dogs within 3 days, which we don't do that, but it allows us to do that. And so it hasn't been changed in quite some time, so it really needed to be updated. Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Grigor?
Aye.
Councilor Chakowski?
No.
Councilman Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Schwab?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1240, a final reading of an ordinance of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, dissolving the Master Plan Conference, repealing ordinance 654, ordinance 11 of 1967, and providing for an effective date. Is there a second?
Could you elaborate on that, Matt?
I need a second before.
I second.
This is the mechanism that Mayor Perenni used to build Eastgate and Westgate. So it's just sitting empty on the books. So that's why it's best to dissolve it. Council moved to dissolve it in 2016, but they did it with a resolution and not an ordinance. And it was created with an ordinance, so it needs to be dissolved with an ordinance.
So it's been there since
1967.
67,
Yes.
and it's not doing anything, is what you're saying, right?
No, it's how they had to get funding for Eastgate and Westgate.
Right.
So it's just sitting there on the books.
I second, yeah.
Any other questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Grigor?
Aye.
Councilor Chakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Cole?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Mayor Schwab?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1242, a final reading, an ordinance of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 285 in the codified ordinances of the City of Monessen regarding plumbing, and providing for an effective date. Is there a second?
I'll second.
The current plumbing ordinance does not follow the UCC, so before Todd left, he recommended that we amend this, so that's why this amendment is here. Any questions?
Who is the city's current master plumber?
That would fall under the code enforcement department.
We've had a master plumber for the city before.
We've had a plumbing board that has not been utilized, and it's best to fall under the UCC. And I spoke with the solicitor on that as well, so that's why this iteration has been written. To fall under the code department. Any other questions?
Sorry.
I also, I'll take a moment to just say too, today I found out that we should have in place a board of appeals for code violations, and there's no board of appeals in place according to our UCC that we adopted and the International Property Maintenance Code. We're required to have a board of appeals, and we currently do not. So we're going to have to explore if there's a resolution anywhere that has established a board of appeals and how to appoint those members, and if not, we're going to have to appoint members to it. Call the roll.
Councilman Coles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1243, a final reading, an ordinance of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, establishing certain rules and procedures for potential new hires, establishing certain rules and procedures for potential appointees to all city boards, authorities, and commissions, and providing for an effective date. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Councilman Coles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1244, a final reading, an ordinance of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, establishing rules and regulations for the purchase of supplies, parts, equipment, maintenance, vehicle maintenance, and day-to-day operations and necessities, and providing for an effective date. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions?
What exactly is this for?
This is for spending procedures. We discussed it last week. These are the current procedures that are in place right now to allow flexibility in government so that we don't have issues where things don't get fixed and don't get purchased.
So my question is, when we talked about this last week, and we asked Tim what was going on at other municipalities and cities, he said it mostly was $2,000 to $3,000. And I don't understand in what respect, and no disrespect, but in what respect would the city clerk have authorization to be spending money for like that, when that position should not be doing any of that? If it's going to do anything, it's
You're
gonna fall
actually
under this.
incorrect. That position is what that's for, to handle finances, and also the city administrator for day-to-day operations. And as I said in the email that occurred, that were not taken care of because everything was so micromanaged. This will allow for the city to function the day-to-day, for things to be purchased, for things to keep moving forward. If council was to fall off the face of the earth, the city employees would still be able to keep the city running.
If the council fell off the earth, there would be no body to authorize payment for anything.
The city would still be able to function with the employees because the employees are the ones that run the city and keep it moving. Council is a legislative body.
Tim, you have to have council to approve expenditures, third-class city, whether something happens to us or not.
My point is, the
Mayor,
city.
let him finish, please.
My point is, the city needs to function on a day-to-day basis. There was a point when they couldn't buy paper clips without your blessing. There needs to be mechanisms in place for them to be able to do day-to-day functions.
it's one thing for the city administrator to have that function, and that's part of his or her function.
It's also part of the city clerk, because you remember that there was a point where there wasn't a city administrator. Effectively, you had a city clerk, because it was merged into one role. Because you have to legally have a city clerk.
So there's different ways that the municipalities do it, including third-class cities, right? So first of all, keep in mind, so when you pass your budget, that's your authorization to spend those amounts of money on those specific line items. So that's council already approving, in a sense, those expenditures. Even those expenditures, though, should not, obviously be approved until they've been seen by some department heads, right? So that's in some municipalities, the involvement. It's in the budget, and it's within the line item, a department head can approve that expenditure. Historically here in the city, that's required all of council's approval at a meeting. So council approvals all of those expenditures separately, in addition to the amounts that were appropriated in the budget for those specific line items. So that's one way of doing it. Obviously the concern with that approach is it slows things down, because expenditures can only occur at specific monthly meetings. That's why some municipalities adopt a system similar to this, where it's like a requisition process, that if it's a budgeted amount, and it falls within that budgeted amount for that line item, the department heads and the directors of those departments can approve expenditures up to a certain dollar amount, or other staff, city administrators, city clerk, whoever's kind of managing things, can do it up to a certain dollar amount. Some municipalities do it that way, so kind of routine expenses and smaller expenses can get paid without having to wait for the monthly meeting. Now, where you guys fall on that and where you want, it's a policy decision. Council is the legislative body, so what you guys think is best and will work best for Monessen is what you want to use. The only requirements that you have are that once it reaches that threshold where you have to publicly bid it, you have to go through those public bidding requirements. But anything beyond that, or less than that, I should say, you guys can implement a system that, as long as it's an expenditure that's within an approved line item in the budget, you could either have council approve it, or you could have, city administrator, city clerk, department heads approve it, or some mixture of both. If it's up to a certain amount, those employees could go through that requisition process to approve it. If it's above that amount, then council has to approve it. But where you set that limit, that's, like I said, I know what other municipalities do and have done, but what obviously works for one does not work for all.
And this is basically the procedures that we've been following right now. And it allows, like, if something breaks or if something happens that falls into that routine day-to-day thing, then we're able to take care of it right away instead of waiting months at a time.
Mayor, the only thing I disagree with that is when you said, Mayor, about his council fell off the face of the earth, things can still continue and all that.
Yeah.
That's not true.
The city would be able to function.
Well,
and
let's go back 2 years when there wasn't a full council. There was a time the city almost shut down.
And the employees were still keeping things running.
But that doesn't get them paid and everything else. That doesn't do anything.
You weren't allowing anyone to buy supplies, but that's irrelevant to this conversation.
This is immaterial. This is,
irrelevant.
the argument here is
What is
immaterial.
this about?
You have a motion on the floor. Let's vote on it.
Call the roll.
If they don't like it,
You're always coming up with some nonsense.
they can change it in January.
Every
Call the roll.
meeting.
No, you
Council,
don't have
why
the
we don't
amount.
get along.
Council Coles?
Is the amount in here?
Yeah, what was the question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it C?
It's the motion, 12,
12, thank you. 1244.
That's C? Is that where the thing is? The amount?
C, second for Don, you seconded this?
Yes, I did. It's 11-5.
Call the roll.
Council Coles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
No.
Councilor Gregor? Councilor Jakowski?
No.
Mayor Sherrell?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to conduct, it should be the first reading of ordinance 1245, an ordinance of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 175 of the codified ordinances of the city as related to curfew and providing for an effective date. Is there a second?
Second.
And as I said last week, there's, right now, the police recommended this change. There is a loophole in our current curfew ordinance that basically, as many of you know, if you're under the age of 18, there's a curfew at 10 p.m., but it doesn't include public sidewalks, rights of way. It only includes the street. So this is to amend it to include the streets. We're having some issues in certain areas of town. The streets, I'm sorry, sidewalks and rights of way. Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilor Chakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Coles?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. And this next one should also be the first reading. I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1246, the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, ratifying the establishment of a Police Accountability and Internal Affairs Board by and for the City of Monessen, ratifying the appointment of its members, establishing the Police Accountability and Internal Affairs Policy, establishing the process for internal affairs investigations, establishing an accountability review process, establishing a formal complaint procedure, establishing an investigation procedure, and providing for an effective date. Is there a second?
Second.
And this is the same policy we adopted last year. This is just in ordinance form. The other policy was just a policy that was adopted. So this is formalizing it more. Any questions?
Has this been signed off by the union?
Yes, when we did the policy last year. Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilor Chakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Coles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. And I'd like to make a motion to conduct the first reading of ordinance 1247, an ordinance of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to adopt a municipal storm water management plan by and for the City of Monessen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilor Chakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Coles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes. I have two police reports here for the month ending June 2021. Parking permits, $1,585. Total miscellaneous collection, $450. Total receipts from District Justice Office, $1,527.85. Total receipts collected for June 2021, $3,562.85. Some highlights from the call log for June 2021, 117 assist EMS, 12 assist fire, 11 assist LEA, including code enforcement, 22 follow-up investigations, 15 hearings, 12 ID checks, 131 calls for service, 111 registration checks, 20 residential patrol area or residential check, 162 vehicle stops, and 20 welfare checks. So the total for June was 842 calls. And the year-to-date, as of June, was 4,154. Total arrests for June, 206. Year-to-date, as of June, 814. And then mileage for June, total miles, 6,754. Average miles per day, 225.14. And then for July of 2021, parking permits, $320. Total miscellaneous collection, $150. Total receipts from District Justice Office, $1,578.63. Total receipts collected for July 2021, $2,048.63. Some highlights from the call log for July of 2021. 24 residential alarms, 20 animal complaints, 139 assist EMS, 16 LEA, including code enforcement, 10 disorderly conduct, 21 domestic complaints, 7 drug possession, 13 fax requests for investigations, 22 fight a fray, 13 follow-up investigations, 13 fraud, forgery, including internet fraud, 23 hearings, 17 ID checks, 183 miscellaneous calls for service, 50 patrol checks, including county-owned property, 75 registration checks, 11 suspicious person, auto, or circumstance, 70 vehicle stops, 6 warrant checks and arrests, and 20 welfare checks. And the total for July was 868, and the year-to-date total is 5,022. Arrests for July 2021, total arrests for July 108, year-to-date total 922. Mileage for July 2021, total miles 6,247, and an average miles per day 201.52. And that ends the police report, and I will hand it over to Councilwoman Thomas.
Good evening, everyone. Streets Department report. They emptied garbage downtown twice a week, answered 35 PA1 calls, fixed several catch basins, cold patched several streets and alleys, put up several signs, got everything ready for the Josh Gibson event, took care of as many complaints as possible, received playground equipment for the boat dock, cut city properties, and helped the Parks Department as needed. The Monessen Public Library July 2021 report, the summer feeding program through Westmoreland Food Bank has ended. It ends on Thursday, August 12th. But the library will have a container from the food bank year-round to collect donations. Chrissy Panapinto was in charge of the program, and she did an outstanding job as usual. The library hosted an informational session for apprenticeships in the technology field on July 30th. Ingrid Cook was responsible for the event with assistance from the Pittsburgh Technology Council. The annual audit of the library was finished by de Blasio and de Blasio. The Friends of the Library are having their annual spaghetti dinner fundraiser in the month of August at Felicia's Restaurant. Tickets are available right now. They're $12 each. Okay. Some of the upcoming programs for this autumn include programs with the Westmoreland Symphony Orchestra and local authors. That's the library report. RDA report for July 2021. Motions were made to ratify the acceptance of Michael Kelly as a new member to the authority from the January 19, 2021 meeting. Motions were made to ratify 7 properties to the authority from the repository lot in an amount of $500 from the February 16, 2021 meeting. A motion was made to ratify payment of insurance from the March 16, 2021 meeting. And a motion was made to ratify the hiring of Chelsea Rittenauer to inspect the 6 street properties for DMP requirements during the dumping from the November 11, 2021 meeting. And the meeting was adjourned with no further action. Those are my reports.
Thank you. Councilman Rosachowski.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. Park Department report for July 2021. Clean the civic center as needed, cut city parks and ball fields, got pavilions ready for all events, fixed the amphitheater with spackle paint facility, and helped the street department with it. My report.
I left one comment off on my, it said, Euclid Drive paving project has been completed. The 24 miles per hour signs will be installed. Pedestrian crosswalk will be painted from parking lot to the track. And that's the last one.
Yes, I don't know about you, but Euclid is beautiful. I've been driving on it just to drive on it. But those potholes acted as speed bumps, so we have to put up signs now.
Yep.
Councilman Gray.
Code Enforcement Office financial report ending July 2021. Plumbing licenses to date, $1,415. Building permits, July, $625. Year-to-date, $11,240.32. Demolition permits year-to-date, $170.50. Soliciting permits year-to-date, $200. Chicken permits to date, $175. Street opening permits for July, $20,466.66. Year-to-date, $74,789.99. Magistrate code enforcement for July was $209.74. Year-to-date was $1,467.92. Sign permits, July, $264.50. Year-to-date, $1,189.50. Eat and drink license, year-to-date, $300. Health inspections, July, $50. Year-to-date, $630. Habitation permits, July, $1,040. Year-to-date, $9,610. Landlord fees, July, $150. Year-to-date, $20,080. Yard waste pickup, July, $150. Year-to-date, $525. July's totals, $22,955.90. Year-to-date, $121,793.24. Code activity report, habitation permits, 8, correction letters 12, animal complaints 6, miscellaneous complaints 26. Inspections 1, building permits 2, office meetings with residents was 43, zoning permits 6, demolition permits 1, hearings 1. Also, underneath code, K2 engineering, a third party will be handling the code activity going forward. Mon Valley Emergency Medical Services report for July. They had 187 calls, emergency calls, 7 fire standbys for a total of 144 calls. Fire Department report for July 2021. Automatic alarms 3, assist police 3, CO 1, standby 2, structure fire 1, wires down 1, tree down 1, electrical fire 1, motor vehicle accidents 3, EMS assist 5, landing zones 4, 1 illegal burn, 2 natural gas calls, 2 public service calls, total calls 30. Total responding 418. Average responding per call 13.93. Total man hours 452 and a half hours. And that concludes my report.
And
that number is still outstanding at 13.93. All the guys have done a great job.
And I just wanted to add to C on your report, we're still looking for a code officer. So this K2 is just until we find someone who's qualified.
How many?
We have over 85 applicants, and not one of them is even remotely qualified. So if you know anyone, please send them our way.
Code enforcement.
Yeah, what's it pay?
It's starting at $45,000.
You have to have the certification.
And then based on certifications and qualifications, it can go up from the 45. So it would be full-time with benefits. I think what we're seeing is a lot of people are applying because they have to apply because of unemployment. So we're just getting a bunch of random applicants at this point. So if you know anyone, the applications are in John's office. So. Councilman Coles, I just want to note too on item A under your report, that should be the final reading, not the first reading.
Okay, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, it's the
because
final.
we went through this before.
Yeah, it's
so,
the final.
In reading this, am I asking, or are we going to get a motion to approve this? Is that what?
You can make the motion. It's under your report.
So okay. My report is as follows. Thank you, Nora. Item A on the agenda, Ordinance 1241, an ordinance of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, promoting equity, diversity, and inclusivity in the City of Monessen and establishing equitable contracting procedure for minority and women-owned business enterprises, establishing an effective date. Can I get a motion on that? Am I asking that?
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Wojciechowski?
Yes.
Councilman Coles?
Yes?
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Greenberg? Aye. And Mayor Sherrod?
Yes.
Thank you. Item B, I'm asking for a motion to approve the payment of invoices in the general fund in the amount of $272,539.24.
Second. Is there any questions? Are there any questions?
Yeah, Mayor, I have some questions on them, please.
Here
First
we
one
go.
is $800 for Evans Graphics. I know what Tony does, but what did we have done?
Police car?
That is the signage. Oh, we received an $800 donation from Joseph Nursery, and we paid Evans Graphics for that.
So,
Didn't cost the city any money.
It's a new sign for City Park.
oh,
The one that's,
I mean, the signs will be going
It's
up
not
very
up
shortly.
yet.
oh,
so that's a donation from
Joseph.
Joseph's Nursery. Tony made the sign.
Yes,
Made the sign.
yes.
Okay.
the Armory Locksmith.
The 31, is that 3100? What was the 3100, John?
39.
31 Armory?
Colson's
No, under that.
Armory.
Mhm.
That's for installation of cameras and computer networking for the police station.
Is that part of that grant that they got?
It's part of it, but it's, most of it's being used from the DEA money that they have.
AM Trust North America for $14,698.
American Trust? That's the workers' compensation program that we have for $66,000 for a year, which is a reduction from last year of $95,000.
So that's new. I mean, the company's new, the deal.
Right.
That's why it's-
We went out for bid and they've been the lowest.
The next two, Ashley Trucking and Atlantic Tactical.
Atlantic Tactical is ammunition for the police department. Ashley Truck Service, there was a damage to a fire truck. The insurance paid it, and they reimbursed us. We paid Ashley Truck for the service.
CSX Transportation.
That's for the transportation at 12th Street. Every year we have an annual fee that we have to pay to them.
For the rail crossing? For the rail crossing?
For rail crossing, yes.
Full Service Network.
Full Service Network is our new telephone company, of which we're saving over $6,000 this year.
Did we enter in a contract with them?
Yes,
And did council vote on that contract?
yes,
When?
a few months back.
Okay. And John, you have a figure 542 in there.
Yeah, that was, I picked up printed ink at Staples. I used my charge card because they shipped us the wrong cartridges, and I was reimbursed for that.
You didn't want to make a donation? Come on down, John.
The next one.
Here in Greenwood, 25,000.
And Kerry Greenwood, that was a fire at 14 McKee Avenue. The insurance is paid to the city of Monessen, and we turn it around once the building is torn down and property is renovated, then we send the tax money to the owner.
And
And we made $4,000 on that. So everybody knows, for every $15,000 in insurance for a fire, there's $2,000 goes to administration for the city. And that's for the code officer who goes out and watches what they do and examines the property to make sure it's done correctly. In the end, it's seeded, and then that's what we offer to pay.
That's the fire insurance fund.
The fire.
Make sure that
Yes,
that's
yes.
escrow account. That's
Yeah, so
fire
we had
escrow account.
$30,000, we had $4,000 that came to the city, and the remainder would go to the owner, and they would pay for the excavation of the house.
I'd like to make a comment on that.
Sure.
That fire escrow account was let go for a lot of years. The person that was supposed to take care of it wasn't taking care of it. We had some buildings that we should have gotten money to tear down, the structures, and we lost that money because we did not have someone taking care of the escrow account as it should have been done. Fortunately, at this time, we have somebody who's extremely aggressive in finding out who the insurance company is, and I would like to thank you for that. Mr. Heppel, thank you.
In addition to that, because they're a volunteer fire department, they have the ability to write up for their time and file it with insurance companies so that they're covered also under that. And we're having a rough time getting paid, but we're going to continue to do that. And at some point in time, we're going to start getting money that will go to the volunteer fire department for their time on the job. And
Where's that come from?
pardon me?
Where does that money come from?
Where's that money coming from? Insurance company. Everything's filed with the insurance company.
Yeah, in your insurance,
Most insurance companies, it's built into the insurance company.
Yeah.
The insurance company doesn't like to pay it. There are other companies, do they have a better ordinance than we have or something like that?
Well, we were able to adopt that ordinance to
We just need to
actually
get a little
enforce
more.
it now.
The citizens are paying for it, and the insurance companies are pocketing it. So we got to get that money to the volunteer fire department.
well, you folks are paying the money, the insurance company, your house burns down, they decide they're not gonna pay it. Well, it's already been paid for,
Every fire.
just about. If you have insurance,
That's, I didn't know that.
We set a fee earlier this year. It's so much per piece of equipment that responds. Okay? And, but there's still no limit. One thing I would like to see, I'm not to hold you up, but in the near future is a fire report is $15. Most municipalities, it could be $250, $300. I think we should set a higher price so that I get something out of this insurance company. We're doing all the work and
they're making all the money. They have no skin in the game. They don't care about the municipalities. It's all of them, it's a profit and loss.
Just one comment on that. So, this is your general fund, expenses that you're going through and approving here. So money that comes in for like the fire, for the fire escrow fund, you'll want to make sure that you don't run that through your general fund. So you should have a designated fire escrow fund and all the money.
We do have one.
Yeah, so there should
Right now,
be
it's about $78,000 is sitting in that fund.
Okay, so that would be where that disbursement ultimately
Right.
should have come from. And then that actually doesn't have to be approved by council. Your ordinance requires that payment to go out actually along with the state law. So those disbursements wouldn't have to be approved by council, just so you guys know. I mean,
Does it have to come out of the fire escrow account?
Yeah.
It can't come out, you can't take it and put it into the general.
I mean, I'm not saying you're gonna get in trouble or anything, because it's
No,
not wrong.
we want to do it the right way.
But the right way to do it is there should be no commingling of those funds at all. It should go in and be deposited into the fire escrow account, and then it should be dispersed from the fire escrow account to wherever it needs to
Let
go.
me check with Cheryl a second.
And it is, but the way the system was set up in QuickBooks is the report that's given from the general fund includes the general fund, the grant fund, the fire escrow account. So there are several within that, and I can't separate that based on this payment. So that's why sometimes you'll see that it's the grant fund. Well, that's money for the police officers. It shows up in general, but what is actually taken out of the grant fund.
Okay, that's
The
good.
same thing with the fire escrow.
So we do have a trailing number there all the time, and yes.
Mhm.
And hopefully we don't have any more fires. That'd be nice.
And Westmoreland, I know what it is, Westmoreland County Land Bank.
Yeah, the school board finally approved the admittance of the city into the land bank, so that was the fee that was to be paid for joining the land bank. We approved that back in February. The school board approved it in June, I think. So it's finally happening. And so for people's knowledge, so obviously we have all these properties, and we're able to do this tax forgiveness program. And also people are able to go through the repository or through tax sales and what have you. The land bank comes into play. Let's say there's a house the owner died, and there's an astronomical amount of taxes on it, like $40,000, $50,000 in taxes, which they're out there, trust me. And so the fees for the land bank, if you as a private citizen are going to go and acquire a property through the land bank, it's $5,000. Their administrative fees across the board for the land bank are $5,000 for an empty lot that you pay to the land bank, $10,000 for residential, and $15,000 for commercial. Where that is beneficial is if you, let's say there's a commercial building and the owner is dead and there's $50,000 in back taxes and you can't track the owner down, you can't acquire the property. Well, paying the $15,000 to the land bank is much cheaper than paying the $50,000 in back taxes to get the property. So there's some instances when it makes sense to go that route, but then there's other instances when it doesn't. For example, if there's an empty lot that you want, maybe there's $1,200 in taxes on it, it's cheaper for you to pay the $1,200 to acquire the lot or wait for it to go to judicial sale instead of paying the $5,000 to the land bank for that lot. So it's just another tool for people to be able to get property and get some of these back into taxpayers. So I'm glad that the school board finally approved it. And it passed unanimously with all of the members present. 2 members were not present, but the ones that were, it was 7-0. So I'm really glad of that. Okay, call the roll. Oh, sorry.
Cheryl, is there a way of adding something on here like escrow, fire escrow?
I don't know, I can look into that,
See if you just like each one of those.
but the auditors told us to stick to the QuickBook
Format.
reports. We're actually looking for one for the receipts, so that way there's no mistake or no questions. Did somebody transpose something? Did somebody not tell us about something? If it's a report that came right out of the QuickBooks account, then there's less of a chance of someone thinking somebody's trying to do something that they shouldn't do. So it was for the auditors that they suggested that we do that. I don't know if there's a way that I can separate that in any way or not,
The auditors
but I
know
can
better
look
than
at
I.
that. I'm sorry?
The auditors know better than I.
Well, they're the ones that make it, approve it and then help us be able to get loans for what we need and
Yep.
everything else. So the auditors kind of told us what to do, so that's what we're following.
Call the roll.
Councilor McGregor.
Aye.
Councilor Wojciechowski.
Yes.
Councilor McCollum.
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas.
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes.
Going to item C, I'm asking for a motion to approve payment of the invoices on the line usage money in the amount of $56,340.64.
Second. Questions? Call the roll.
Councilor Wojciechowski.
Yes.
Councilor McCollum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas.
Yes.
Councilor McGregor.
Aye.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes.
Item D, I'm asking for a motion to approve payment of invoices to the park fund in the amount of $15,764.96.
Second. Questions? Call the roll.
Councilor McCollum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas.
Yes.
Councilor McGregor.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wojciechowski.
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes.
Item E, I'm asking for a motion to approve payment of invoices for liquid fuels in the amount of $15,459.08.
Second. Questions? Call the roll.
Councilor McCollum.
Yes.
Councilor Thomas.
Yes.
Councilor McGregor.
Aye.
Councilor Wojciechowski.
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes.
Item F, I'm asking for a motion to approve payment of invoices for recreation in the amount of $500.02.
Second. Questions? Call the roll.
Councilwoman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilor Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes.
Item G, large dollar amount balance for the month ending July are as follows. Number one, debt service, $476,994.93. Item two, American Rescue, $378,745.54. Item three, in the general fund, it's $296,738.91. Item four, line usage is $127,448.10. Item five, Parks and Recreation is $108,198.91. That concludes my report, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have a question, one more thing before we go to public comment. What's the status, what's going on about the camera situation that was under discussion last week?
More specifically,
Are
as a whole,
they working?
are they working? That's a question to the chief. I assume that they're working. But keep in mind that, again, this is under investigation. So I'm going to keep it limited as to what we're going to discuss on the cameras right now.
Okay, but are all the video cameras working?
Ike has been working on it, so I have not spoken to him or the chief on that, so I don't know the answer to that. I know they're still installing some of them.
Okay, because the email gave the impression that they haven't been working for 7 months.
That, I believe, is inaccurate.
And I'm just reading what was all.
Yes, and as I said, it's under investigation, and so that's basically as far as I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Open the floor to public comments on any item.
I just want to pick up something here, and it's mainly to the voters. The voters got to know that the council, the present council right now is under stress and under duress because there's a lot of things going under the table because there's this rumor going around that the 3 candidates that were voted in the primaries is going to wipe out 7 of 10 appointed officials here, okay? So their hands are difficult. And the one example is the code enforcement. Now they're trying to get a code enforcer, but your good code enforcer is not going to come if they think they're going to get replaced in January. So I'm just trying to give you examples why the voters got to do a lot more than just electing people because they belong to their union or to their fraternal organization or to their profession. So the big thing is this. People got to start looking at the intentions of people who are going to get voted in. What is their intentions? Do they represent special interests? Are they going to go in there because they have some other alternative motive? But the number one basis that you got to be looking at is, are they creative? Are they inventive? Are they resourceful? So they can bring about what everybody suffers. And what are they suffering about? They're suffering about lack of revenue. Why? Because the businesses aren't coming in. We're losing residents, so there's more of a burden on the property owners. And then the budgets keep going up and up. So if you're going to put people in, you got to pick them on how they're going to address these issues. Instead, what we got is people who get in, their number one goal is to throw mud at people and keep certain people out that doesn't fit with their agenda. And now tonight, I was surprised, and it happened right here, while I was talking to Councilwoman Lois Thomas. What's his name? Ron Mosner had a constable serve me on my qualifications.
My name's not on that one single place.
I know where it came from. And as a result, you called me, by the way, and said, and I'm gonna get you off. Okay, so you got that, I got your phone call, okay? So anyway, what you got is voters. If any voter that put these three people that got nominated in office, they're gonna disrupt the entire Monessen chamber of doing anything positive. And it's up to you. My advice is, elect people that ain't on the Democratic ticket from the primaries. If we do that, then Monessen may have a chance. So I'm gonna do my best to challenge this petition for my petition of names, signatures, so I can be one contender with the intentions to represent everybody who's a property owner and a business owner. I have no allegiance to any particular group, and I got nothing to sell to make myself enriched by selling products and services. So I'm in it because I am getting the bad effects of poor people that came in and ruined the city. Okay? And don't forget, you guys started, it goes way back. You guys started with Mary Jo, and then she wasn't any good. You went with Lou, the union guy, then he wasn't any good. Then we had Deputy Dog here, Orkowski, and then he's over there complaining and complaining. And the point is, all I'm gonna say is, we're gonna have due diligence and put people in that are gonna make a positive change and help the city. That's all I'm gonna say. If you're putting in people because you all belong to the same group, then Monessen's gonna go down here.
Ernie,
Amen.
Right.
Ernie, just say one simple thing, and that's it. That's why we have elections. You don't like it? Oh, well. That's the end of it. That's why we have elections.
Yeah, I want the people to know how the election.
People make up their own minds.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Oh, yes, they do.
If they did, they wouldn't be.
We have a
lining up.
democratic society. I'm not getting in an argument with you. This isn't for council.
They wouldn't be lining up to get back.
This is not for council.
Nancy, that's it.
Nancy Horvath, 1417 Arlington Street. Mine are always very simple questions. When did the police department go to 12-hour shifts?
In November, and then the contract was renegotiated and led to January. Yeah, so it was formally renegotiated starting January.
So by working 12-hour shifts, they're automatically paid 4 hours over, or 10 hours, was it 10 hours or 12? I wrote down 12. Is it
It's
12-hour
12,
shifts?
it's 12, and the reason why that's better is because, so, it allows them actually more time off, but saves us in overtime.
But
So
they're still getting 4 hours overtime every day?
No.
Oh, well, it's not the way the contract reads?
No.
That's like an
We
8-hour shift, it's all straight done?
Yeah, we redid the whole thing.
Okay, that answers my
And
next question.
they like it more too because,
I would
for
too.
example, you know your whole schedule for the entire calendar year. So they could plan doctor's
Oh, that used
appointments
to
or,
drive them crazy, I know.
yeah, because, 1 week you're midnight and then you're in the morning, and so it's much easier on them.
I thought you should have probably did do the contract change to allow not having all that overtime, or you're defeating the whole purpose.
It's helped
so.
immensely, and until this one officer was injured, off duty, the overtime was only $7,000 this year as opposed to the $25,000 last year in the same period, but now we're up to 11. It's still lower, so we're still saving on overtime.
To me, it's a win-win situation.
They seem happy with it.
My question's for you, Delmar. What's with the fire alarm, the fire whistle? Is it malfunctioning? It goes crazy sometimes. It'll, and then it'll stop, and then it'll start again, and then it'll do it again. It's not a continuous.
Well, at 9:45 every night, it only rings
Oh, I know, no, I tell that was all the curfew for my grandkids, but no, it's not that. It's during regular fire alarms.
It cycles up and down. That's the tension getter.
and it'll stop.
If someone's at the station, they can shut it off, right?
Yeah, if someone gets to the station,
They can manually shut it off.
they can manually
But
shut
you'll
it.
only do it one time and then quit, then it'll do a continuous sound. And then that one, I don't know what the fire, what the alarm was, but it went off forever. My dog.
I'm normally responding to the call, so I'm not listening to it, but, I'll keep an eye on
I just thought something must be going wrong with it because it
it. I mean, it's a
doesn't,
possibility, it's
it
old.
doesn't function the way it used to. I mean, I've lived up there for,
It didn't work for quite a
Many
while
years.
until we had to, rewire it, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's just been the last couple of weeks, it's been real busy. So I just wanted
It's
to,
going off every day, because
Oh, yeah.
we have a call every day.
I know. That's all, I just wanted something was
I will
wrong
keep an
with
eye
it.
on it, though.
Oh, my God.
I'll see what I can.
All right.
Thank you.
You're about to hear? You're about to hear. Bartlett Preston, 28 Montreux Drive. Little League football started up this weekend. I'm glad to see that, but the parking was, almost caused a few accidents. All the garbage they threw on the entrance to Montreux, walking out of the stadium.
Right.
My neighbor called me wanting to know what to do. I said, call the police, but, so I made the call. There was a car parked right on the bend. It couldn't be there. So I called the police and I guess they took care of it. But my question is, can we get, I know we're hurting for street department, but can we get the curbs painted yellow? Possibly before the next
Yeah.
game.
Close.
Yeah, John just gave him a call, tell him to yellow. He's talking just about the edges.
Yellow
The entrance
Just
to
them on
Montreux.
the trailer, just on the curb,
Both
Yellow
sides.
curbs.
the
They
curb,
park
as
right
you
there
enter
on-
Montreux.
Oh, they parked on the, yeah, and they throw all the garbage right there, right at the end of the sidewalk. They park, yeah, pizza boxes.
Shouldn't that whole curb in front of, like going up towards the stadium?
It was all, yeah, there's no parking there at all. But they
Yeah,
come,
not
they're
allowed.
right on the bend, and the car was out in Australia. Almost did. So my neighbor said she had to back up, but she couldn't go through. 2 cars couldn't fit through, because they parked on both sides. And listen, if you have a driveway right there, try getting in and out of it, you can't, because they're right on the edges of your driveway.
Get them painted, call the cops.
On my drive.
Yeah, that way if they are painted, then
Yeah, they should, they'll see it. They're not, you can't tell the, who would park on a corner like that? You gotta know you can't park.
it should be obvious, but
All right, one more question is, do we have a roof leak?
there was a roof leak. Billy Hands was able to patch it for us, but, yeah, it looks like,
Looks like
it
mold.
was happening for quite
I
a
don't want
while.
none of y'all to get sick, 'cause that looks like mold.
No,
Yeah.
you ought to see the mold in this building.
The wallpaper was obviously falling off, and it started, it was real small, and every day, like, it would be
You
a
don't
little
want to
more.
stick your head up in that void. You may
You
not survive it.
mentioned the trash and all. John, you, at one point said you were going to try to initiate the, recycling with, Perennial Boulevard.
Or do you mean a cleanup, or do you mean with the recycling?
With the recycling, because there's still nobody within a 2-block area of me that does any recycling.
I know that the environmental board, they started like a trial run on Pacific Boulevard, since that was
That's
a
what we
contained
talked
area.
about.
Yeah, they did do that. I don't know how that, I know they dropped bins off to everyone that didn't have them. And there was talk of doing Montraver next, since it's like, you know, cul-de-sac and
I
it's
think
easier
we're
to.
the only town in the area, are we not, that recycles, we're supposed to recycle?
Well, I know North Bell Vernon doesn't. We're actually mandated by law to.
Monongahela doesn't, so I don't think so.
We're required to.
Well, the
Because
issue
we're
is, on
third-class
on Pacific Boulevard,
Yeah, we're
we
obligated
did
to act
put
on
out
one.
49 extra bins, and we increased significantly the number of people. The issue is, the Refuge Authority is not supplying the containers to us that we need. We'd like to have an additional 3,200 containers to give to everybody in the city. But at the expense, we're going to get, we haven't had any for 3 weeks now. We're expecting to have some in by the end of the month. COVID has pushed some of that back, that's been a problem, but we're never going to get the amount that we need, as I think the cost is prohibitive. And so
You mean the bin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I mean, it really helps us, not only is it good we've had, I think you brought this up before, we've had this conversation, but we're required to, one, and two, the more tonnage that we get in from recycling, the more grant money we're eligible for later for related projects and equipment.
Yeah, so what's hurting us is that we're recycling what we can, but we can't get the numbers up, so the DEP will tell the cleanways that we can afford greater grants for the city of Monessen because we don't have the bins.
Maybe we should advertise such a thing or put notification in the newspaper that it can benefit the citizens if they ever, some have them and just don't use them.
Yeah, what do they get for doing it, though, you know what I mean?
What we're gonna do.
Maybe like how it helps you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we would, like, for example, one of the things that we could purchase if we got a significant grant from doing this, we could buy a wood chipper. Then we can chip all of this brush that people bring us and have a place to put it, and then we have mulch, so,
Then you gotta be careful with the mulch, because if you don't treat it properly, then you have bugs going.
Bugs.
The one thing that we're going to bring up, what I'm gonna bring up anyway, is with the Refuge Authority, to try to put it into the contract for the next 5 years, because it's up at the end of this year. We try to put it into the contract where the contractor would have to supply us with more bins in that. And if we get the recycling in, they make more money. So if they make more money, then I want them to share that in the contract with bins for us. So that's what I'm going to be taking to them in the next couple of months, so that it works, goes all the way around. And then once that happens, then the DEP looks at us as being a favorite municipality, and we get a good rating for cleanways, and then the grant money will go from 12,000. Hopefully we could get more, 15,000. Then that helps us to look for whatever we have to. Maybe we get a chipper at that time.
Well, if enough people put their glass and cans out, I won't have to get up early in the morning to make sure they put them in the right truck.
Yeah, that's the other thing
I
too.
don't like doing that.
So we do have some goals that we've set in.
Maybe inform the public of some benefits and I don't know anybody.
yeah, I'm sure people don't know that it's tied to grant funding or anything like that.
No, I didn't know. Well, another thing about Monterey, can we get arrows so they know which way to go? Because then people were parking the wrong way. I had to stop.
You mean the sign says one way?
Or do you mean arrows?
That ain't good enough.
You mean arrows on the
On the concrete.
It's really not
like
good.
painted?
No, it's not good
They
enough.
got them going back.
He's not driving down the wrong way, is he?
No.
Oh, you went the right way?
Well, I live up there.
I know.
We should be able to get painted arrows.
Yeah. when they
Just
take
right there.
Do the curve,
Just-
Yeah, when they do the curve, they could just do the arrows.
Yeah, but they go
The
both
biggest
ways.
thing we're waiting for right now is the gas company is supposed to go in and put all new gas lines in. And that'll be all new roads up there.
Well, we need to.
I mean, there's actually 49 patches
Well, when are they gonna
on
do it?
Fort
We're
and
still waiting for
I
them to
counted
do the
them one
keys,
day,
so I'm
about
not.
49, somewhere in that area.
Yes.
Okay.
We got holes now, down at the bottom, by the, drain, by the drain, down, going around the bend. We got holes there now.
By the inlets?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's, where's that on Fort or is that on,
Monterey.
Fort and going to Monterey, there was a hole there. I think it
It's
patched
on
up.
Monterey, it is bad, not the one going in,
Oh, coming in, the road coming in is bad.
but the one inside going in, like going the one way and go around the bend, they're on the bottom.
Well, they did patch one, it's out on the street where that car was parked, it's sunk in already. When you hit it, you feel that. It was a small hole, but it sunk in, it must be something.
I'll check on that. I'll check on that tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah,
There's a lot of roads that need to be done.
Yeah, you need to repave it. Well, if you repave the alleys.
Anyone else?
We use millings for the
Yeah,
alleys.
there's a gas line.
We use some millings for the alleys.
Oh, there's an alley up by, what, 9th Street there, did they repave that?
Go.
Okay, I'm Diana Carestis again from 630 Albert
Don't
Drive.
worry about it.
Okay.
When I was talking before, you all mentioned that there is a dog catcher,
Yes,
It's Hoffman.
Hoffman.
Gary Hoffman. And
Because I'm anticipating a problem in the future. I have a neighbor that has a very flimsy fence with 5 pit bulls in it, so I wanted to know who to call.
Yeah, that would be Hoffman.
Okay.
And if you go on the city website,
2 dogs, 2 birds?
well, we just changed it, so now it's based on square footage, but it was supposed to be 2 dogs, but
No, then no one called.
no,
No,
no.
they didn't.
Aren't there separate ordinances for pit bulls?
Not
There are
that I'm
one
aware.
that's
It's
showing-
just like there's vicious dog, like the PA dog law, but, no.
Insurance companies don't insure people who have the pit bulls in their homes.
If they don't know about it, then
Yeah, if they don't know about it.
No, I had one running in my yard.
Well, I had been down to see Mr. Davis when the people moved in because they had 3 and they were letting them run. And and I have a small dog, but I have a 6-foot fence around my patio where my dog goes, specifically because not to keep my dog in, but to keep the stray dogs out. But this gentleman moved in, his 3 pit bulls were running the neighborhood. Mr. Davis did go up, talk to him, and he did put up a fence. However, the fence isn't the strongest thing, and it's been progressively weaker because now there's 5 dogs and they jump on the fence. So I just wanted to know who the dog catcher was, because when I see them loose, I will be calling the dog catcher.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to bother you again, John.
oh, it's okay.
But yeah, they
I
should not be
actually,
running.
I did talk to the dog catcher today and asked if when you talk to the animal people, they know the other animal people
Right.
around. And she was going to go to another party to see about chickens. And then in the meantime, we had somebody to drive them. We didn't
Right.
call it off. But, yeah, they will come
Yeah,
out.
because
to it.
Animal Friends in Westmoreland sent me to a sanctuary in Sewickley Township, which was Allegheny County, and she told me, I can't help you, and she said, unfortunately, she said, there is no humane officers for Westmoreland County now, but she gave me a list of animal rescue places, which was where I was trying to contact when you sent Chris up to
Yeah.
help me out, so.
We'll
and he's
get
been
the other
great, so-
3.
Yeah, we're working on 3. We have, one's in a cage and 2 we're still at large, so, hopefully by tomorrow.
If anyone sees any chickens.
Yeah.
I'd like to say something. I thank those that live in Montreal for sticking up for your right, because it is one way going all the way around. And believe me, and you seen it this past Saturday, once you got cars parked on both sides, a fire truck will not get in. If they do it, somebody will get hurt.
Do we?
So all I'm saying is this, I'm glad to hear them speak on our behalf, because I don't think Montreal is the only place that people go the wrong way.
No, it's certainly
Okay,
not.
so I don't know where the cops are at. Okay, I'm not a cop, I don't have a GPS on them, but the part that pisses me off is when I call the police station, they tell me they call me Greensboro. I pay my taxes in Monessen, not in Greensboro. I pay my taxes in Greensboro for their issue, but my issue is get the cops to come down there and look every damn day. Somebody's going the wrong way, and somebody is going to get hurt.
What do you mean you call down here
Yes.
Or they
with a
call,
complaint?
or are they telling you to call
911.
You have to
911?
call 911 so they could dispatch.
I'm not calling, I said it before, and I'll say it again in front of all of you. I will not call 911. I pay my taxes in Monessen, I call Monessen.
They're not gonna get dispatched then.
Oh,
So
no.
you do whatever you
Well,
want.
look, then
But
you're
not gonna-
saying,
They're not gonna
what you're
dispatch you
saying
because it has to go
is, it's
through.
okay to break the law, right?
It has to go through
So I pay my
911.
taxes here, so I'm not
It
getting
has
hurt.
to go through 911. We
I
do
will
not-
call Monessen.
Well, you're not gonna get a dispatch.
Well, guess
We
what?
don't dispatch anymore. It's
They don't
through
dispatch.
Oh,
911.
you mean the cop, what about when the cops?
911, you gotta call them.
What about when the cops? pick up the-
911.
Who is it?
Are you gonna let me?
911.
When I call and the cop answer,
911.
listen to what I'm telling you.
I know what you're telling me, it's not
What
gonna
am I
be
gonna
able to
say?
come out.
What am I gonna say?
You're paying your taxes in Monessen.
No, that's not what I was gonna
Okay,
say.
finish up.
That's right.
Go ahead, finish.
When I call 911, that doesn't have a damn thing to do with me. I call Monessen and the policeman answers. They send somebody else. When the cops answer, they send somebody else.
But they're not
When
always
the-
in the
let me
office.
finish. When the secretary answers, whoever the hell they are, they tell you to call 911. Tell me, what is the difference?
Because if they're not in the station.
What is the difference between, they
If
both
you-
work in
If
Monessen?
you may, if I may, if they're not in the station, and Deneen's not the dispatch, so if they're not in the station, it has to go through
So
911.
you're telling
because it
me
goes through
that
the
when
radio
they answer, the cop answers the phone, they're not at the station?
Yeah, that's only up till 4 o'clock somebody will answer. After that, they're in the cars, there's nobody there.
The best
But
bet,
they
and
do answer after 4
I-
o'clock, the cops do answer.
I get complaints from people who tell me, oh, a drug deal's going on at such and such, and they message me on Facebook about it, and I tell them the same thing, you have to call 911. It's not just for emergencies, it's also for non-emergencies, so.
I'll tell you again, I'm gonna keep calling the police.
They won't
Well, they do when they answer after 4.
But I do have a question to anyone that was on Montrever. Are there no parking signs on one side of the street, or is there parking on both
No,
sides?
No.
there's one
You're allowed to
sign
park
that
on
says
both sides.
one way
Right.
when you first go in, but it doesn't tell you the other road is also one way. Okay? And
Like, once you get past.
once you go in, you make a right, that's one way also.
Right.
Now, if they wanted to make it two-way, you guys have the power to do so. Do it. I don't have a damn problem for you guys to change that, but then you'll have the problem, you can't park cars there. Most people
Right, then you're
in
gonna have a lot
Montreal
of
don't have garages.
You might want to think about the entrance in, parking on one side or the other, because if you do have two there, that fire truck taking somebody out.
Like, in that, like, the,
Just as
like,
you
right
as you turn in
before
off
it
Ross Street.
branches.
Yeah, the whole
Just
place. People got cars all over, so you need to less around. There's a lot of places don't have
Okay. Right.
so they park on the
Well,
street.
everyone up there has garages, don't they?
No.
No?
No, not even a third of it.
I thought they all had
Now, I'm
garages.
gonna tell you something. I lived there since 1967, and I've never seen it as bad as it is the last 4 years. So that's all I can tell you. So I don't know who the hell is doing what, but all I know is this. Number one, the cops do answer the call after 4, but during before 4, they tell you to call 911. So there's 2 policies in place, 2 of them. One after 4, one before. The other part of it is, if you want to change the bylaws and make it a two-way street, I'm open,
That would be disaster.
okay? But you gotta make sure that people can't park there.
I think that would make it
What's
worse.
gonna happen? Now, there's a
I'd
road
say-
that takes you to First Street, that they were supposed to open it up 40 years ago, and they never did, they closed it.
I think making one side of the street no parking might be better, but then you're gonna,
Whose side you gonna pick?
well, yeah.
You're gonna have a problem.
So,
can't do that.
what I'm trying to tell you, you can, if someone,
Right there you can.
here's an attorney right there, he'll tell you. If somebody here is becoming the wrong way, believe me, you can tell me all you want, but I will take you out to court. I will sue for every goddamn thing you got.
All right, Matt.
You can sit there and say, oh, you can't sue me, watch me.
Because there's so, if they park on both sides, you can't even get a fire truck in there.
Right, right.
Even though he bitches
You
at
went from
What
one
was
side
that?
parking.
even though he bitches at it, he'll stop him.
Was that, is there anyone
And they
else?
have kids.
Somebody might park on the other side.
I'm gonna tell you something that I do know. There's a lot more people in one trailer today than was there in 1967. I counted close to 20-some kids there.
I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 9:07 PM.